While most people I know have made their plans and are going out on Saturday nights, I'm usually just at home working on something in front of the computer, or I'm still at work until about 9:30 p.m. Then I go home, make dinner with my husband, then go to bed. When I scroll through the last several months of text messages that I've received, the only people that text me are my husband, some family members, and my coworkers. My brother lives on the other side of town, but I see his dog more often than I see him. The older I get, the less people I hear from that actually remember my birthday. Hey everyone, my name is Joan, and today I want to talk about not having a social life and being okay with it. Growing up, I was always surrounded by people. I grew up with a lot of siblings. I grew up with a ton of cousins, being Filipino. If you know, you know. Throughout middle school and high school and college, I always managed to make friends. Then I chose a career in music where naturally I was always surrounded by people, meeting new people, being part of social circles. I was always surrounded by people. Then things changed, especially in 2020, and I'm sure everybody had felt the wrath of 2020 when it came to our social life. People just dissipated from our lives. People just grew distant. We just drifted apart, whether it's family or friends. And I think it took a long time for people to reconnect, bring back the friendships and relationships and social circles that they used to have, except for me. During that time, I saw so many people change, either change for the better or change for the worst, or people just showed who they really are and showed the worst side of them. Especially when you're on social media, during that time was very tense. It was very crazy, and it was really sad to see how the people that I knew that I thought were the kindest people were so mean. And it made me want to distance myself from that. With everything that was going on, my husband and I decided to finally leave LA. I never thought I would leave LA. My whole life was there, all my friends were there, my career was there. I never thought I would leave. We moved a little over an hour north from LA to a small town of Ventura. And luckily we did have a couple of friends that had just moved there as well. So it was kind of nice to move into a new town that I never thought I would move to and still have some friends there. During that time, I really didn't make a lot of effort to make more friends. If I met anybody and we somewhat connected, of course I did my best to keep in touch, get to know them, but I really wasn't going out of my way to spend time with them. So I kind of kept myself at an arm's distance, and I really wasn't sure if I was going to stay there long enough that I could really cultivate these friendships and relationships. During our time in Ventura, my husband and I were reevaluating our lives, our goals, our careers, our finances, and really trying to figure out where to move from there. And I really had to tell myself that I can't let friends hold me back from doing the things that we want to accomplish together. And so after 2 years of being in Ventura, we decided to make a big move and move out of California altogether. I never thought I would leave California. I lived there most of my life. I have planted my roots in California, but something felt right about leaving my life behind there, including my friends. So my husband and I packed all our things, only took what we needed, got rid of a lot of stuff, and planned our move to Arizona. One of my brothers was actually going through some kind of transition in his life as well. We kind of timed it where we would move to Arizona together. And so far it's been really nice. I still have family nearby, although I hardly see him. And thinking back at how many times I've moved, my social life had basically dwindled down to non-existent. It's been almost 2 years now that I have left my life in California, and I still don't have a social life. And I'm okay with that because I've realized so many things about the kinds of friendships and relationships I've had in the past. And it made me really think about, were all those people really my friends? The first time I left LA, a lot of people didn't even realize I left LA. And then when I left California altogether, there were still a lot of people that didn't realize I had left the state. So it made me realize that people didn't really care about me. I was not on their mind, and that maybe our friendships were not that strong for them to care what's been going on in my life. Granted, I don't post a lot on social media. A lot of the things I post is me being at home cooking or something, but maybe I made it hard for people to tell where I am, but people really didn't know that I left. So I have been thinking a lot lately about the kinds of friends that I've had. Let me know if you've had any of these types of friends. So I realized that the majority of my friends were in this group of friends. They are the friends you have fun with. They are the friends that you make plans with, you go and do things with, you go check out the bars, you go to shows, you do escape rooms with, you go out to eat with, you spend all kinds of money and time with. But when I think back about the connections that we had, they were really not that deep. A lot of the conversations were super shallow, never really went anywhere. And I can't help but think that that was the majority of the friends that I had most of my life. And then I had the friends of friends. These are the friends that always seem to be in the picture. They tagged along with your friends. They somehow end up in all our group photos on my phone. They follow me on social media. They'll add me on Facebook. But were they really my friends? I would say they were not. When I think about them, they were always there, but they never really made the effort to hang out with me and get to know me just for me. And at the same time, I didn't go out of my way to get to know them and spend time with them. So this group of friends, I definitely had a lot of these people in my life. And although I've casually said that they're my friends and have introduced them as my friends to other people, they really were not my friends. Then the next group of friends that I've had, and I've had several of these, I call them the friends out of convenience. And even though I've been friends with these people for many years, they were the types of friends that only hung out with me when it was convenient for them, if it was what they wanted to do. There were friends that only reached out to me if they needed something, they needed some kind of information from me. And then there's the friends that they know I can hire them for work, I can pay them to do a job. And unfortunately, these were the types of friendships that I had quite a bit of, but never developed into something more meaningful. And I'm gonna give you an example of one friend I had in particular, known her for many years, and she was definitely a friend out of convenience. Anytime she would reach out to me and make plans, I was always there, I would always go with her, I would always tag along. But anytime I would reach out to her and make plans, she would commit and then she would flake on me the same day. And that happened for years and years and years. So it got to this breaking point where I realized this friendship is not gonna go anywhere. I remember inviting her over to my place and I told her, hey, I'm gonna make some brunch, we'll go sit in my backyard. I had just got engaged to my husband. She had never met him and I wanted to make plans for us to spend time together and so she could meet him. Well, she committed to the day, but then instead she tells me, hey, I wanna check out this art show in LA. How about we just meet there? And I was like, okay, I guess. You know, my husband was a little bit annoyed by it, but I was like, okay, whatever, let's just go. So we went to this art show, met up with her, and of course she brought one of her friends, and it just wasn't fun. And at one point, her friend decided that she was hungry and she wants to try this Mexican restaurant in North Hollywood. And so they decided, okay, well, we're gonna go by, and didn't even consider that, hey, I made plans for us to spend time together and now you're gonna go off and do something else. After that, I just started ignoring her. I just stopped responding to her messages. And then I think a year later, she emailed me asking me if I wanted to go on this mission trip to Mexico. And that was the point where I decided to cut her off. I wrote back to her email, told her how I felt, and told her, hey, I wish you all the best, but I don't want to be your friend anymore. The other types of friends that I've had, I call them the energy vampires, the people that just suck the energy out of you anytime you spend time with them. All they do is complain and cry. They complain about their boyfriends, they complain about their lives. And as much as I want to be there for them, when I spend time with them, it's never a good time. All they do is suck my energy. One example of a friend that was exactly that. She was a girlfriend of a friend of mine, and although for the most part she kind of just ignored me and maybe we would have small talk in passing, she always kind of just ignored me. And then when she saw that I had just ended a relationship I had at the time, suddenly she wanted to be there for me. After a few times we hung out, all of a sudden it became about her. Every time I spent time with her, she was crying, she was complaining, she was so negative, and there was really nothing I could do to help her feel better as much as I wanted to. And I think the reason why she spent so much time with me is because for the most part, I would just listen and not really say anything. I would not judge her, and I would just listen and acknowledge the stuff she said. So anytime we've made plans to hang out, I was always hoping it would be a different experience, but it was not. We would go and try this new restaurant in town. We would sit there, and then she's crying. And it got to this certain point where I realized I need to end this friendship now. She had just gotten into a fight with her boyfriend, and apparently he was gonna have a show that she wanted to attend. At the same time, I had told her, hey, I'm gonna go visit my parents this weekend, so I can't hang out with you. Conveniently enough, her boyfriend's show was actually close to where my parents lived. And I remember her calling me, asking me what I was up to, and basically manipulated me to get my parents to babysit her son so that she and I can go to her boyfriend's show. My parents, of course, they love kids and they were happy to watch him. I thought that was so inappropriate. I thought that was asking too much, and I felt really stupid sticking her son with my parents whom she had never even met. So she drops off her kid at my parents' house, drags me to go watch her boyfriend's show, and then the whole time we were at that show, she was crying. So after that, I started distancing myself from her. I started to kind of push her away. She got upset. She writes this long text about me flaking out on her, because I never flake out on her. And I wrote back that, you're a drama queen. I don't want to hang out. A few months went by. She reached out again, trying to reconcile our friendship. But at that point, I told her, I don't want to be friends anymore. And lastly, there are a small group of friends that I call the deep connections. The people that whenever I spend time with them, I feel a deep connection. We can have deep conversations. We inspire each other. We motivate each other. We feel encouraged around each other. And I have very few of these people in my life. And these are the types of friends that no matter if I haven't seen them for a long time, I haven't heard from them in a long time, and no matter how far we live from each other, we somehow still stay connected. I have a hard time letting go of these people, and these few people I can imagine always being in my life. These are the type of people that have always accepted me no matter what I went through with my life. And when I do get in touch with them, and if I do finally get to see them again, it always feels like we just pick up right from where we left off. These are the types of friends that I hope to encounter more of, and I'm okay with waiting for those types of friendships to come across my way. I would like to have friends that I can talk about the things that I'm going through right now, the things that I'm interested in right now. Things like spiritual growth, self-development, finances and business and budgeting. I would like to have friends I could talk about health with. I think what life is teaching me right now is that I need to discover who I really am, express myself for who I really am, so I can attract these kinds of friendships that are aligned with my values, what's important to me, and will always accept me no matter where I am in my journey. There has been advantages and benefits for me having moved to a state where I hardly know anyone. I definitely feel like I could be myself. People get to know me for who I am right now and not have an idea of who I was back then. I know that I've changed, and I know I'm still developing as a person. There is a sense of freedom and liberation that I have right now, knowing that I'm not trying to be the person who my friends thought I was. I can be myself as I am now, and it doesn't matter because I don't have my old friends judging me for having changed. Thank you for listening. I still believe in friendships. I still believe in having a community, but I also believe that everybody goes through different phases in their life that maybe friends just don't fit in at that moment. And it's okay. It's okay to be alone sometimes. It's okay to be on your own. And then the right people will somehow end up in our lives the more we focus on ourselves. Thank you again so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.